we will have Eric Hammond from the Orange Stack. Hi, Eric.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
If you don't know Eric, he joins us every third Tuesday of the month. Eric's background, beside being a top producer, a real estate top producer, is digital marketing. He's the owner of the Orange Stack.
Yep.
And he's able to share knowledge when it comes to real estate and digital marketing and help us, real estate agent, to get better with leads or social media content and other type of digital marketing. Today, he's going to talk about 5 ways to build your brand on social media. Right, Eric?
Right. We're going to get into it. You know what I found is when I had our real estate team, it was hard to find somebody who understood social media and real estate at the same time and trying to build that together. So I realized there's that need and we try to fill that for you guys. So we're going to talk about building your brand today, which I love. And it's one of my topics that I like talking about the most. So hopefully we get into some good content here.
And what I really like about you is you have real estate background. And I work with a lot of marketing people or digital marketing people, and sometimes they don't understand where we come from. So having a digital marketer that has a real estate background is really a plus. So thank you for being here every month.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Now, training change with time. And I personally believe that the training right now of the type of content that work in social media is video. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. What do you think is the real training right now for content into social media?
You know what's interesting is a lot of realtors took the approach of just hiring a company to create some type of a lead funnel for them, right? Like whether it's Zillow or Trulia or anything that just kind of sends you a name and a number. The problem with that is that these leads have never heard of you before. They don't know who you are. They know nothing about you. And so when you go to call them, there's a good chance that your number or their number was sold to a lot of agents, which is too bad. But the other side of it is that they never heard of you and they don't know who you are. And so one of the things that we're going to get into today is really helping your audience, your farm, the people that live in your area who should know you, get to know you. And since most of the world that we live around is on social media every single day, you have the opportunity to be in front of the people that are either looking for you or not, but they're just going to be able to see you on a regular basis. You're going to be able to share content and value with them. And that's the joys of building a brand online versus just relying on a lead gen platform such as Zillow. And I hate to throw Zillow under the bus because they're doing a good job in some aspects, but they're a good example of what we're talking about today.
Right, or you can have like a great follow-up content. People can come from Zillow, but after that, how do you stay around the client? It's having the right content through social media or online platforms, right?
Yeah. And when you get that contact from Zillow, they'll usually give you a name and a number and an email address, which is good because you can call them, right as soon as you get that lead, which is good. And you'll leave a voicemail if you're not able to get a hold of them, and you can text them and all that kind of stuff. A lot of agents that we work with have a great automation system where it, puts them into a drip campaign of some sort of a newsletter or an email follow-up or, hey, you're thinking about selling your house. Here's some tips on things that you can do. So you're starting to build that relationship. But you got to realize that out of emails that people get, 5 to 15% of emails are opened. So there's a huge non-open rate that you're probably going to experience. And that's why social media is great, because people are opening a lot of content. They're reading all the posts. They're seeing the ads. They have to scroll past your stuff just to get to the next post. So by being on social media and other places online, you have the opportunity to engage with them in another place that they're probably going to be naturally. So it all goes back to building that brand and sharing value as an agent and helping them as a potential buyer or seller in the next couple months of their life, right? Like, what are they thinking about, as they prepare to put their house in the market? What are the things that they're going to have to go through? And as they start buying a house, what are the things that they have to think about with getting a mortgage, and what do they have to look at in the home to prepare for? So that's where the real value comes in as an agent.
Now, I know sometimes content can be kind of boring if you use the same thing all the time, like just sold and just listed, or I just sold a home. Now, what kind of content the agent needs to do so they don't repeat the same thing over and over, which we see a lot?
Yeah. Yep. I'm actually teaching a webinar in a week about this whole topic for an hour. So in just a short period of time that we have here, I'll give you a couple ideas of things that you can talk about. You know, I think most agents just by default post the just listed and just sold post on Facebook or Instagram because it's easy. You take a picture of that beautiful house that you just sold and say, you know, I did it again. We got multiple offers and I'm amazing. And it's all about you. But what kind of value does that bring to your client? Probably none. You know, maybe it helps them know that, yeah, we sold another house in this neighborhood and my home value's gone up a little bit, or the market's doing this or that. But there's probably a whole lot more than you can share. You know, I talk to agents about just behind the scenes kind of stuff. You know, go look at homes and show the homes that you're looking at. Go preview a couple homes and hold this device that's probably in your pocket every single day and walk around and show homes that are on the area, because most MLSs only offer probably 20 to 25 photos of a house, and they don't let you put in video. So just by shooting a video of a house that you go through and pointing out the benefits and features that the house has to offer, or the view of the backyard, those can those can be great items to share on social media. Other things, you know, how do you negotiate a contract, or after you do an inspection with a buyer, you know, how do you take care of the repairs? And if there's termites in the house, or the roof's falling apart, or the water heater needs to be replaced, go talk to these contractors and interview them and say, you know, hey, these guys have a 40-gallon water heater tank that needs to be replaced. How much do you charge for this? And how much lead time do we need to have? And what should they be thinking about as they put this new water heater in? Should we go tankless, or should we, you know, incorporate solar? There's just tons of content that you can think about when it comes to other things besides the actual transaction of the home.
And
so
I agree.
Just a couple.
Sometimes you have to just tell a story. Tell a story during the transaction. From the moment you start the transaction all the way to the end, things happen, good or bad. You save a buyer based on an inspection, a title company help you. Why don't you share that little piece of story than just sold? Yeah.
You know, a good show that I like to give an example of, I can't remember the name of it right now, my name's failing, but there's a show where they look at 3 properties, right, that they want to buy. And I know that they look at more, but for the TV show, they look at 3, and they go preview 3 houses, and they show them the whole house. They talk about remodeling a house sometimes, and they'll show them different things about what that house has to offer. If you took that same concept and followed a buyer all the way from, we're going to go meet with the lender, and these are all the docs that they're going to ask for, and here's the hurdles that we're going to go through. You don't have to get too personal with them and show them all their financials, but just talk about the things that lender's going to ask for. Go start, you know, reviewing what's on the MLS and showing them probably what's in their price range after they get approved. Go find out the needs that they have. I always tell people, ask 500 questions, so you only have to see 5 houses. Don't just ask 5 questions, then you're going to have to see 500 houses. And then start going to tour properties with them, you know, and getting their feedback and say, okay, here's this new kitchen that was remodeled that offers this and this. What do you guys like about it? Just hold the camera up and talk to your clients and see what they're looking at, and tell that whole story from start to finish. Go through the inspections, the negotiations, the closings, you know, sitting down at title or with an attorney, depending on the state that you're in, all that kind of stuff. People will love it because there's so many new home buyers that are coming to the market these next few years that have never experienced any of this stuff. And for you, you live it every single day and you understand what you're going to go through. But for them, it's brand new and it's scary. I just bought a house myself, and I've dealt with tons of transactions, and I forget sometimes the things that a buyer, me going through it myself, have to go through, and just countless amounts of paperwork and signatures and everything. And so that's just so much value that you can bring to your client if you show this on a regular basis.
The emotion too, even if we're in real estate, when it's like us purchasing a property, the emotion is different.
Yep. I remember, so we just bought our house and the roof was failing, and we had the inspection, and the guy's like, yeah, it's $17,000 for the roof. I'm like, oh man, like, what are we gonna do? It's coming winter. I don't want to replace the roof right now. And I started getting emotional about it too, you know, thinking, what are we gonna do? We ended up negotiating the price. I saved myself $35,000 on the purchase price of this house, and I was ecstatic, you know. So it's just little things like that that most buyers don't have a clue that you can even do.
And I think the seller and the buyers, when they see you online dealing with the life obstacle, the real moment, they love it, right?
Yep. You build that drama that people are looking for. So that's what's fun too. Yeah.
Now, social media is something that I believe we kind of have to do every day. Is that correct? Or how much content do you think we need to create us as real estate agents to be in front of our client every day?
You know, I just read an article last night about Sears closing, I think it was 142 stores today, and they have a bill of $125 million that's due today because they didn't adapt, right? Like, their competitors are Amazon #1, but Home Depot and Lowe's #2. And I don't think that Home Depot and Lowe's are doing a fantastic job on social media, but I can tell you that Sears failed. They resisted social media. They thought that their clients weren't on there, and so they avoided it. And now they're going out of business, and they've lost millions and millions and millions of dollars. They've been around for over 100 years. It's a huge staple in most people's lives for a long time. And so by having that opinion that I don't need to be on social media, that, you know, my clients aren't on there yet, you're missing out. And so you need to adapt. You need to be everywhere. I tell people at least be on Facebook and Instagram, but figure out how to be on YouTube and LinkedIn and Snapchat if you can, because someday these Snapchatters are going to be buying a house. And just because everyone's leaving and going back to Instagram means that there's more real estate for you to take. So be on every platform that you can afford to. Find the ones that you're comfortable with and go from there. But there's something that you can do on every single platform to build an audience.
You're right. You need to adapt. You need to innovate. And it's not about what you like. That's reality. It's about what's work and what your clients want.
Yeah.
You know, we're in this business because we care about people. We want to help people. Well, guess what? These people are in social media and they want knowledge and information from you through the social media. So you need to adapt if you want to do this.
Exactly. Yep.
When we talk about social media content, I mean, I know there's different level and there's the people who don't do too much social media, but even when it comes to the content, you don't want to put the same thing you have like on Instagram, then Facebook, then a story, right? It has to be different.
Yeah. You got to treat each platform as being unique. And you can talk about the same things or similar things, but doing it a different way. What most people do is they'll record one video on their phone and then post that to Facebook, post that to Instagram, post it to YouTube. And so if I'm just on Instagram, I don't need to go follow you on Facebook, or I don't need to go to YouTube. But if you keep the content unique on each platform, you're going to push people to different places and they're going to be excited to go tune in there. For example, let's say you spend most of your time on Instagram and that's your platform and that's where you share most of your content. Maybe you do a, preview Wednesday and you go live on Facebook and you spend 30 minutes go touring a house on Facebook Live only. And that's the only place that you do this show. And so you're going to push people to that Facebook channel because that's the only place that you offer that type of content. So just figure out unique pieces of content that you can share on each platform. And that way you kind of spread the love and be everywhere. Because there are some people that only use certain platforms.
Yes. Now, how do you know if what you do works?
That's a good question. It's usually in the numbers, right? Once you start seeing the results come in, that's a big part of it. You're looking for either a 3 or 10-second view to register, because that's usually when most platforms register that as a view. But it's more than that. It's the engagement, it's the shares, it's the comments. If you have 10,000 views and nobody's commented on any of your content, you're probably not sharing the right content. What you need to do is go to the video views and see how much engagement you actually get. Do most people bail at 10 seconds and then they're out, and you had a 10-minute video and they missed 9 minutes and 50 seconds of your content? So start looking at the content that you're posting. And I'm talking like after dozens and dozens of episodes of content that you've shared. We have a show that we've been doing now almost live for 2 years. And it's interesting. Some of our content will get 80% watch time and some of it will only have 10% watch time, just because of what we talk about. Some things are really interesting to some people and some aren't. So you have to look at these things and make course corrections. If you always show houses and that's all you ever do, or just talk about the listings that you sold, maybe make a pivot and talk about something else for a couple of weeks and seeing how that does. So looking at the numbers is a huge part, and really going through the analytics can be kind of tricky if you're not familiar with that, but there's plenty of YouTube videos to explain it. I tell people, if you don't know how to do it, YouTube it. There's just so much content on YouTube. Figure it out yourself. Don't blame the fact that you don't know how to do it, that you shouldn't be doing it. Go figure out how to do it. But it's in the numbers. It's in the engagement. Every time you get a post or a comment or a like or a thumbs up, or I get this one lady, if she's on the show, thank you, but I get the little weird kissy emoji. I'm not sure how to take it. So it's kind of awkward, but I appreciate the love. But I don't know how to respond, right? But I do. I give her a thumbs up and I give her the high five and I give her the smiley emoji, but I respond. And that's the point. Respond to everybody. If they're going to take the time to love your content, respond back. And that's how you know that it's working, because you're going to get that engagement.
Now, the good thing is social media is free. And if you do a quick video or you share some content, well, you're able to share that in one click with thousands of people without spending a dime. Now, if you do use Facebook or Instagram, do you think you should always have a call to action?
That's a good question too. So I say there's a book that I love that I give out every time I speak, well, most of the time I speak. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And it's from Gary Vaynerchuk. And he talks about giving value before you ask. You know, a lot of people just come in and say, hey, sign up for this and do that and come to my open house and give me your email address so I can send you my newsletter. What's the value, right? So provide value probably 4 times and ask for something every 5th time. And that's a good rule of thumb. So providing value, you know, what's going on in the neighborhood. Here's a couple houses that are really interesting. Here's what's going on with lending right now. You know, here's how to get approved for a house. And by the way, I'm holding this client appreciation party at the park for Halloween, whatever it is. I'm giving out stickers and lollipops. Come over. I want to love you. That's the kind of ask that you need to have people going for. So come up with good asks that's going to bring value to them. And don't ask every single time. Bring value. Ask every 5th time. You know, if you do have big asks, like sign up for my newsletter, have some amazing value behind that. You know, what are they going to get when they sign up for your newsletter? Why should I give you my email address and be bombarded with email every single day when I check my email address? There's got to be some massive value there. So make it worth their time and ask every once in a while. You know, like that's a good reason.
So no call to action without bringing value.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Bring more value than you feel like you're getting out of them.
Yeah. And like we just said earlier, just putting just listed, just sold, that's not value.
That's not value. That's really an ask. You're asking them to look at your dang worthless post, honestly. So find more ways to be creative, share stuff, you know, it's fun.
I think the agent, before they post something, they need to analyze, hey, does it bring value to my client or what I'm going to post? And if the answer is no, it's going to make you happy to post it. You know, your ego is going to like that big. But it's not bringing a value to your client, and your client will not be as interested in your post.
Yeah, you know, the days of posting, you know, 20 to 30 times a day and just getting content out there are over. You really need to spend some time and have really good logistical posts. I would spend 4 or 5 hours coming up with a good post and having one good, really piece of good content. You know, maybe not a quick picture or a selfie or something like that, but if you're going to spend the time to make a video or a podcast or some piece of information that you want someone to spend 5 minutes of their life in, you probably need to spend an hour or more figuring out how you're going to do it, how you're going to craft it, what value is there. And if you're not sure if there's value, go ask somebody else in your office. Just say, hey, I'm about to post this. Would you spend the next minute reading this or watching this or engaging with this? Is this something interesting to you? And they're into industry and they'll be able to see if there's value, because if they learn something from it, you know your clients are going to learn something from it. But if you don't even want to watch it, it's probably not that interesting for everybody else either. So spend the time to make it fun and interesting, and don't just post something to be there, because you'll get lost in the crowd and people will realize every time I look at Eric's posts, they're boring. I'm going to skip past the next 20 of them and maybe something eventually will be interesting. But right now I'm passing, and they're going to miss all the good content that you're going to share the next time. So ask for feedback.
One good thing that came up is with the story. And I think if you don't have time and you want to do a quick snap, you can say, okay, I'm just going to do the story.
Yeah.
So you post less on Facebook posts or on Instagram posts, but you need to spend more quality time if you decide to post something. So maybe just post twice a week, but do a very good value post, and do Facebook and Insta story all week, all day long, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised at the things that people follow. You know, there's a lot of makeup blogs and health blogs and yoga blogs and eating healthy blogs, and people just, I'll see my wife and she's following these people, you know, I'm like, what are you watching over there? And she's like, oh, this lady I follow, her kids are running around Disneyland. I'm like, why do you care? Like, we're not at Disneyland. Who cares, you know? But people are. My wife is, whatever. And so some people will want to follow you around all day. You know, you could post 20, 30 stories a day and have little 10-second clips of your life and everything that you're doing. And some people are going to engage with that, but other people will tune out. So you got to know your audience. You got to know, maybe one day on Monday or Wednesday or whatever day it is, you post 30 stories all day long and you just see the engagement. And if they start falling off towards the end of the story, you realize that you lost people. And so maybe you need to bring more value to it. You know, tell that story that you're talking about, Jessica, and make it interesting, and start from the morning. You know, this is what I did this morning. This is me preparing for the day. This is how I lead gen. This is how I make my calls. This is how I follow up with my clients. This is how I go and prepare for my listing appointments. Tell the story of your day as a real estate agent on what you're doing. You know, when you show up at someone's house to take that physical listing, what are you doing to prepare for it? Do you just show up with your sign in your trunk hoping that you get the listing, or did you spend 6 hours preparing for that listing so that you're going to be the number one agent that guy should hire? What do you do? And that's what's going to get people to follow along and make it interesting, because there's plenty of people willing to share their life. So why would they want to follow you?
Now on the Facebook side of it, you have the Facebook business page and the personal Facebook page. And I use both. I'm very active on my personal, and I have a Jessica Crumbaugh business page.
Yep.
I know. What do you think? Do you think real estate agents should be more involved with a client on a personal or the business page? Because the problem with agents is like, I don't want to mix my personal life with my professional life. So I'm just using the business page. But I think you really don't connect and build a relationship with that business page. Should I focusing more on having a personal page and connect more with the client? The only problem is they cannot do any ads with it, right?
I mean, you can do ads with personal accounts. They're just not as advanced yet. They're still working on some stuff, and I mean, it's changing all the time. And there might be some accounts out there that gives you some more advertising options on a personal basis. I think a lot of agents will build a brand and hide behind, right? So ABC Properties or whatever you want to call your real estate company, and they'll just share post after post after post of houses that they list, and there's nothing personal. I mean, you couldn't find a picture of an agent on that team if you wanted to. And I think that's the wrong direction to go. The other side of it is the agent who just has a personal account and never took the time to set up a business account, and all they do is post personal stuff. You know, here's my cat, and you know, we went on a camp out this weekend, and here's me in Vegas, and hopefully no one saw this, and whatever. I think there needs to be a good mix.
You're going to Vegas, Eric.
Better watch out for Vegas. So I think that, you know, you can't rebrand yourself. You know, I'm not going to change my ABC Properties to Eric Hammond Real Estate, but I think that you can be Eric Hammond Realtor or whatever your name is. Obviously, don't call yourself Eric Hammond Realtor, but come up with a personal name so that people can find you. Because what happens is you're going to be at Starbucks in your neighborhood. You're going to meet somebody. They're going to ask you what you do. You say, I sell real estate in this area. Have you ever thought about buying or selling or investing in real estate? And they say, yeah, you know, I've been thinking about it. They might go home and look you up. And if they don't remember your name except for Eric, they're not going to be able to find your crazy real estate brand name that you probably titled yourself on your social media. So they're going to find all your crazy Vegas stories, right? So you want to have a searchable real estate name like Eric and Real Estate. If I search Eric and Real Estate, what's going to come up? You know, put your name in as Eric and see what comes up. You need to be found when you're in that area geographically. So I think it helps to have that personal name and real estate tied together and share your content. I tell people make it personal because people want to see your family and they want to see what you're doing behind the scenes. They want to see vacations and life. You know, if you don't want to share your kids on social media, I totally understand. But there's so much more that you can share besides just that. You know, bring in your hobbies, bring in the groups that you go to. If you like cars and music and shows and things like that, share these kind of things. It makes you, and it helps people relate because they're going to be like, I didn't know you were a Grateful Dead fan. Let's go to this concert and hang out together, you know, whatever it is, and let's bond together. And they're going to be able to relate to you. If you're just straight edge, always real estate agent, they're going to have a hard time connecting with you. So bring in that personal life and have the personal account for friends and family. And if you want to keep it private, but have your business set up as a business managed account and bring in your personal life to that as well. And that helps make you.
Yes, because like you just said, when you meet someone at Starbucks, or it doesn't really matter in real estate. I think the client does not make a decision because of the brand, but they make a decision based on the relationship. Yeah,
and how you made them feel when you met them, right?
Yes.
Because they trust you and they know that you spend $5 a cup on coffee and you guys live in the same neighborhood and you're relatable and they see that. They're not going to pick the #1 SEO search on Google because they showed up. They're going to find the guy that they related to and that they bumped into at Starbucks every single morning for the last 6 months.
No. Now, 5 ways to build your brand on social media. Can you give us 5 ways?
I thought we went over all 5. You're throwing me off. It's not specifically. It's getting personal. We talked about that. It's coming up with content besides just listed and just sold. You know, it's showing offers. It's showing inspections. It's getting on the roof with the roof inspection if you want to. It's that kind of stuff. What?
Can we talk about content?
Yeah.
I think people also need to understand like long article and blogs are old school and that's not content. And I know I'm always pushing videos and I know like how much agents don't want to do video because they don't like the way they look or I'm like, this is you, this is who you are, right? It doesn't really, right?
Yeah.
So will be diversity, right? Do a picture one day, do a quote another day, like different type of content, not always the same thing.
Yeah. What do you do in your personal brand? I know that you're pretty active on social media. Tell us about some of your content that you post.
I thank you, Eric.
This is one of them, right? We do a live show every Tuesday. That's good.
If I do something that is real estate related or related to my company, the next post will not be related to real estate. It will be personal. So I will share a picture of me with my kids or me hiking, but it's the same thing. I'm not going to do 5 days in a row putting picture of my kids. You need to diversify. I will share real estate tips like we are doing today. And I do videos, but I will not do videos every day. You know, videos maybe 2-3 times a week. That's plenty enough.
Yeah.
And sharing some of your personal life. I think I connect with many of our agents who are musicians now because they know I play piano. And they reach out to me and said, oh, I can't believe you play piano. I play guitar. I'm like, great. Now we have a connection. Now we're building a relationship. Why? Because they see that on my Facebook, I play piano.
Yeah.
Human connection. I'm not just talking about, hey, join my company. My company is great. Never. Just don't do it.
Yep. And for all you know, you're going to get someone who reaches out to you and say, you know, who's a good music instructor that you like, you know, and have that bond, and you're bringing value to them because they have a 5-year-old that wants to learn how to play the piano.
Yes, I get probably, I'd say 10 to 15 messages every week.
Oh, yeah.
Agents or other parties through my Facebook because of my content.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think you talked about it. Video is number one for sure, but it doesn't need to be 30-minute pieces of content like this every single day, right? Because no one's going to be able to stay. I mean, I'm just looking at our view count here. It's gone up and down since we've been online, and that's okay. People check in. They have 5 minutes. You know, the average engagement time on social media is 20-minute intervals. So if you're catching somebody at the end of that, you've lost them. So, you know, I like the planned timed shows like this. You know, every Tuesday morning, you guys do this show for 20, 30 minutes. It works out. People have it on their calendars. They know about it. I do the same thing in my business. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, we have a show. Rain or shine, I do it no matter what. Even if I'm out of town, we have it scheduled. But I have other random content, you know, having just random little quick tidbits of a video or a post of a picture or a meme. Those are huge too. Just getting people to engage and having some type of written content on there. Even if it's a 2-minute live, you know, holding your phone like this and doing something and just making it interesting. And it's easier to digest 2 minutes of video content than it is to have to read little text sometimes for people.
Yeah, like on Monday, I do like a less than 1 minute Monday motivation video. I'm in my car.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wearing my workout clothes. I'm not trying to look like a top model, you know.
Yeah.
Time I can do it at 5 in the morning. Every Monday I give, you know, motivation tips. It's only 30 seconds and I move on. And that's we need to not be scared clicking on that button and share knowledge and value with everyone.
Yeah. So focus on real estate value, focus on motivating people, you know, through quotes or inspiration, or, you know, get up at 4 o'clock and work out, whatever it is. And share some personal stuff to make it human and let people connect with you.
Thank you, Eric. I know you have a workshop coming up. You want to talk about that quickly?
We do, yeah. So we're talking about this same topic, but much, much deeper. And it's going to be more screen sharing so we can actually walk you through a lot of stuff. But it's going to be, again, about building your brand and really the how-tos and what on each platform, you know. So how to use Facebook and the content that you should share on Facebook only and Instagram only and YouTube only, and really the nuts and bolts of it. So it's actually next Thursday, the 25th. And I think we're probably going to provide some details in the text of this post later, so I don't have to go through all of it now so you can read it. But it's going to be a great webinar, and it's free, which is awesome. I know they're going to have a landing page which you can go to and sign up and check out what we're going to be sharing. But it's really the nuts and bolts of how to build your brand online. I think today we got some depth here, but it's been more high level. So if you're interested in learning how to build your brand better and stand out from just the Zillow agents, and create a brand that people are going to know, like, and trust you in your area. So when you walk into Starbucks, you're going to be, you're that guy. You're the one I see everywhere on social media. That's what we're going to try to do for you. So be sure to check that out.
Next week, I will make sure we share the link with everyone if they want to attend the webinar.
Yep.
Thank you, Eric, for being here with us today.
You bet.
And I will talk to you next week at your webinar. I will be there.
Awesome.
And, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Eric.
Have a great week. Bye, guys.